The moment I learned the truth, it cut through me like a jagged blade. You go through life believing you've chosen the person who'll walk with you through every season, the one you can trust with your heart. You give them years, your devotion, your time, everything you are. And then, in one quiet moment, everything collapses. It happened with a simple buzz from her phone. A name I'd never seen. A message that read, "Same time tomorrow." Last night was perfect. My stomach knotted so hard I could barely breathe. My skull felt like it might split open. I didn't yell. I didn't wake her. I just stared at her sleeping peacefully beside me while a storm tore through my chest. I couldn't stay there. The walls felt too tight, the air heavy with betrayal. I grabbed my keys, threw on a jacket, and walked out without a sound. My car became the only place that didn't lie to me. Cold, cramped, unforgiving, but at least it was honest. I drove to the outskirts of town and parked in an empty lot. I leaned the seat back as far as it would go, though my whole body remained rigid with hurt. My breath came too fast. My hand trembled against the wheel. Every memory of our life replayed in my head. Her smile on our wedding day, the way she'd squeeze my hand, the promises she made. They all felt counterfeit now, like props in a show I didn't know I was in. I tried to close my eyes just for a moment, but the silence was too sharp, too loud. Just as exhaustion began to drag me under, there was a sound. A knock. Then another. I jerked upright, heart pounding. A woman's silhouette appeared outside the window, mid-40s maybe, bundled in a thick coat, worry etched across her face. I cracked the window. She leaned down and said quietly, "You shouldn't be sleeping out here. It's freezing." I didn't know her. She was a stranger, but her voice had a steadiness that anchored me. I managed to whisper, "I don't have anywhere else to go." She studied me, not with pity, not with judgment, but with something that felt like recognition. Then she said, "Come on. There's a diner down the street." I was heading there anyway. Get something warm in you. Part of me wanted to refuse. To sink deeper into that cold, miserable cocoon. But another part, the part still clinging to some instinct for survival, opened the door and stepped out. We walked together through the biting night air. She felt like a shield beside me, though she said nothing. At the diner, she ordered 2 coffees without asking. Then she looked right at me and said, "You look like someone who just lost something he thought he couldn't live without." The words cracked something in me. My throat tightened. I nearly broke down in front of this woman whose name I didn't even know. Maybe she saw it, because she reached across the table and placed her hand lightly on mine. "It won't destroy you," she said. "Not unless you let it." Her name was Evelyn. She told me she'd been abandoned years earlier, 2 kids, a pile of bills, and a sudden emptiness where her husband used to be. She knew what it felt like to question your worth, to wonder if you were ever truly loved. For hours, she listened as I told her everything. The messages, the confession, the way my wife didn't even fight for us. How small and unimportant that had made me feel. Evelyn never interrupted. She didn't say the usual clichés. She stayed present, eyes steady, reminding me that I wasn't invisible. At some point she said, "Sometimes the people we trust the most are only meant to be in our lives for a while, not forever. Their leaving doesn't erase your value." Those words sank deep. I realized I'd been carrying her betrayal like a mark on my skin, as if her choices defined me. We stayed in that booth until the sky began to lighten. Empty coffee cups, wiped clean plates, the soft hum of morning. And then she told me, "Go home." Not to her. To yourself. As the sun lifted, I drove back. I didn't go inside. I just sat in my car watching the house from a distance. It no longer felt like home, just a building filled with broken promises. But for the first time, I understood something important. Her infidelity wasn't a measure of my worth. Her actions weren't a sentence I had to carry. That night, I thought I was losing everything. But Evelyn knocking on my window showed me I still had something left. Hope, even if only a spark. Weeks later, my wife called. She cried, begged, swore she'd change. For a moment, a tiny part of my heart wanted to believe her. But then I remembered Evelyn's words, "Go home to yourself." And for once I chose me. I told her no. I told her the chance she had was already gone. When I hung up, the silence didn't suffocate me. It felt clean. It felt like peace. I lost my marriage that night. But I found something else, strength, clarity, and the courage to keep moving forward. And it all began with a stranger's knock in the cold dark, reminding me that even in the lowest moments, there's still light waiting to be seen.